Welcome to the American History Past and Present podcast. I'm Cody Bradfish, your host, and in our third episode, I have a special guest for those tuning in. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to sit down with Mrs. Jessica Burris, a teacher entering her sixth year teaching in the Jefferson City School District. In our conversation, she shared her favorite social studies topic, strategies to implement technology in the classroom, tips for teachers and students to maintain a positive online reputation, and advice for new teachers entering the profession. Thank you for listening to the show. Remember to hit the subscribe button for exclusive content from the podcast, and we hope you enjoy our conversation with Mrs. Burris. What is your name? What is your experience in education? And please explain your background.
Hi, my name is Jessica Burris. I'm going on my sixth year in education. I graduated from William Woods University, and I have my master's in technology from there as well. Within my 5 years of teaching, I have taught in the Jefferson City School District and the Washington School District, both being rather similar yet vastly different. Most class sizes I've had have ranged from 18 to 23 students. Sixth grade has been, I really enjoy that age as the kids are just getting really interested in social studies, and it's nice to see their excitement.
What led you to be a social studies teacher? What do you love about the subject? And do you have a favorite time period of history?
Well, I would say in high school, I did have a teacher who showed a lot of passion. It was actually geography. I really enjoyed the engagement side that he brought to it. We got to get out colored pencils and, I love the map side of that. That really is what excited me. And then diving further into the history side of geography, just knowing who formerly was on the land and what happened there. During my undergrad years, I had job shadowed a former teacher I had, and their passion inspired me to go into teaching. Social studies was a subject that excited me from the beginning. I love the storytelling aspect of it, how it can really wow students if delivered in an exciting way. I thoroughly enjoy the 19th century, where Lewis and Clark set out on their expedition to explore the Western Territory. Really get excited about to teach the kids.
What is one of your favorite lessons or activities that you have taught in the classroom?
So piggybacking off my favorite period of time, the Lewis and Clark expedition is probably by far my favorite lessons to teach. Many lessons can come from this point in time. I love how I can show students the route that they took and the important stops that they made, especially being here in Jefferson City. There's important stops that they made along the way that the students can even go visit themselves. Students love when they can relate on a deeper level, and I feel like just having that history here in our city, they're able to kind of connect the dots. That's why I kind of believe students become more interested in the lesson. There's so many virtual experiences I can show students as well. Google Earth has a really awesome feature where you can follow Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea on their expedition. It stops off in St. Charles. So when I did teach in Washington, I was able to connect that to those students, which was pretty close to them. And so now I get to still deliver that lesson here in Jefferson City. And Google Earth actually has videos linked to each stop. And so it really explains what happened at those different spots and the history behind it.
Why is it important to have equity in the classroom regarding the use of technology for students?
We are one-to-one. We all have Chromebooks. They seem to really like it. I think they really take pride in them as well. And because we have to go over a safety side of the Chromebooks and how we respect them. So there's all kinds of lessons that can be taught. So technology can really foster a lot of creativity in the classroom, which is why I really have such a passion for it. This day and age, students are raised on technology. I mean, that's really what they feel confident in. So I believe that bringing that excitement piece to social studies really draws them in. So students today are so in touch with technology, it'd be really silly not to incorporate it into the subject. Students can use technology in many forms, including note-taking, virtual experiences, as well as research that they can partake in, and also presenting information. There's so many ways that, other than PowerPoint, that students can present their ideas and what they've learned in class.
What strategies or tips would you recommend for educators to help balance a positive online reputation regarding exercising their freedom of expression when sharing opinions or engaging in controversial discussions on digital platforms?
I think this is a great question, considering the time we're in right now. I would say to keep everything you post on any online platform completely professional, whether it's your personal account or your professional account. If you wouldn't want your students' parents, or even your colleagues reading it, then you probably shouldn't be posting it. By all means, you have the right to voice your opinion. It is your freedom of speech, but keep it clean. And actually brings me back to, I also taught 5th grade. And in 5th grade, we did a whole scholastic news on how social media can really affect in a negative way your life as well as a positive way. Them knowing the laws behind social media, that you have to be a certain age, 13 or older, to have a social media account of any form. That blew their mind. They were not aware that it was illegal. Letting them know that even if they think something has been deleted, it is not. People can screenshot, screen record. The old saying, what's on the internet doesn't disappear. That's very true. Just being safe on who you're speaking with and what you share, that all kind of reflects you as a person, your character. So treating social media as if you were treating your everyday life. How do you want to portray yourself? It's kind of how I explain it to them. There's consequences in a digital world. Kind of as like a kickstart to the school year, we're educating the students on what the internet is. It sounds silly because essentially grow up on it, but were they taught the fundamentals of it? So we do a digital literacy unit and just kind of describing to the students, you have to be careful who you're connecting with, what you're clicking on. Our district, they make it very safe for students and having certain websites blocked. But there's always ways around those things. So just letting them know that everything that you search, that you're viewing, can be viewed by others as well, as in officials in the district. Just be respectful of what you're doing, because I know at the middle school level, students can really think that they know more than what you know. Them just being on the internet, they need to be safe. Really describing to them that they are protected by the district, but we can also see, what they're looking at. We also use a program called Go Guardian. Guardian is a way that we can observe the online activity and kind of toggle. We can let them know that what they're doing is not appropriate, or, we can, even a positive side, we can say, I love, how you used that researching website to find the information you needed.
What advice would you give to new or incoming teachers regarding the educational profession?
It's going to be really hard days, and there will be easy days, and there will be days that remind you why you entered the profession. And you will make a difference in many students' lives. Just make those differences positive. Always be kind and be firm when they need it, and give grace to not only your students, but to yourself. It's not a walk in the park. Even as going into my 6th year, and I'm sure you can agree to this, each year has its own difficulties. It has new obstacles that you have to jump over. So even if you are considered a veteran, new curriculum comes in. Just always be open for change. I would say have an open mind. It's easy for, teenage, for them to think we already know everything. So having them just kind of be on the same team as you and just know that you're there to work with them. So having that good rapport with the students is really important.
That wraps up this week's episode of the American History Past and Present podcast. Thank you to Mrs. Jessica Burris for sharing engaging classroom resources and technology strategies for teachers to help students develop a positive online reputation. If you enjoyed today's discussion, please subscribe to our podcast on our YouTube channel at AHPP Podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners like you. You can also connect with us on X by searching and following @CoachBradfish or via email at coachbradfish@gmail.com to continue the conversation or suggest future topics you would like us to explore. In subsequent episodes, we plan to sit down with other social studies teachers to share outstanding lessons, resources, and strategies that other teachers around the globe can use. Remember to keep exploring how history shapes our world today, and thanks for listening.